Good day, podcast community. PK here, business relationship coach and podcaster. And I'm going to go through a presentation, a workshop with you. And the workshop is about your lifestyle freedom. And freedom is essential to anything we do. But I'm going to take you through a workshop to help you understand that freedom and lifestyle are possible, but it takes a strategy. Most people don't fail in business, they succeed at building something they secretly hate. So let's go in. Let me make the screen a little bit bigger. Okay. Now let's go into the next one. Then I'm going to give you a gift at the end. So for those that stay, I'm going to give you a $300 gift because I cherish your time. Time is the most critical thing we have. We only have 24 hours each day. How we spend it, how we leverage it, how we use it to the best of our ability to get us to that freedom, to get us to the lifestyle we love and enjoy is critical. Okay. The golden cage of being busy successful. The golden cage of being busy successful. If I've heard it one time, I've heard it 100 times. I'm so busy, I don't have time. Everybody has 24 hours. It's prioritizing that time, prioritizing what you're doing, how you're moving to be successful, and being able to set up systems and processes that leverage your time will determine if you go from busy to flowing, from busy to momentum, from busy to free. And when you can have that freedom, the freedom of time, the freedom of work, the freedom to be who you want to be through the life and blood of your business, then anything is possible. So, do you start your business to have more freedom? Or are you feeling busy now when you first started? And that's what you have to ask yourself. Because if you start your business on that hamster wheel of busy, you're going to find yourself achieving something you're not going to like. Okay, let's go on. The problem isn't work ethic, because a lot of people work hard. It's your operating system. Because if you look at the hustle culture, that's where most people play in. That's the sandbox most people play in, is that hustle culture. I'm busy, I'm busy, I'm busy. I hear that all the time. Now, the lifestyle design takes strategy, takes focusing on the right thing. When you focus on the right thing and you prioritize creating a system that gives you freedom, that gives you life, that gives you the lifestyle of what's possible, that's what gets where you fulfill. You feel that feeling of loving every day. When I get up in the morning, 99.8% of the time, I love the day because I'm clear about the future. I'm doing what I've always loved to do. I'm growing. I am helping people to achieve that freedom. And there's nothing better feeling to know you're aligned with what you're gifted and what your superpower is. Okay. Freedom is design, and it's not earned later. It doesn't mean that just because you work hard, you're going to get there. It's designed. So if you design your life, you design systems and processes, and you're clear about your future, and you're doing what you love to do, and you build a lifestyle around that, that's when joy just fills your heart. You can work hard, and you will work hard, because you'll want that for others too. So you're constantly paying it forward with the idea of bringing that freedom of lifestyle, freedom that you have something that you want to release to the world. So you're always wanting to share that. And when you share that, and the ones that connect with that, it just fills you up with joy, because you're doing what you love to do, and you're sharing that possibility with people. Okay. The following framework will shift you from building a business that traps you to designing a business that serves you. Let's begin. First, step one, define your freedom with precision. Define your freedom with precision. You have time, you have energy freedom, you have location freedom, and you have the creative freedom. All four work together. Time freedom, energy freedom, location freedom, and creative freedom. The business that we design for people, they can do it anywhere in the world. Anywhere. You decide. I like to say, when my grandkids need to be picked up, I can do it. I block off that time. If I don't, if my daughter doesn't need me to step in and help, I can still do creative work. I can still be efficient with my time. I can do it from anywhere. That allows you to fill you up, the lifestyle of location. Now, if I'm halfway around the world and my daughter calls me and says, "Can you pick up the girls?" You can't do it, but I would ahead of time obviously say that. But it could happen an hour before. I block off that time for my grandkids, because I have the lifestyle business. I have time freedom. I have the energy. I mean, I get up early, usually about 3:30. Now, we have a call at 5:30 each 4 days a week with my team of Trexa and Rolando. So I kind of got in that groove of getting up early. But I love early. I used to get up at 5. Now I get up just a little bit earlier. And I have the energy throughout the day, because I'm creating a lifestyle business. I'm creating, not consuming. And there's a big difference between consumption and creating. The average person watches 4 hours of TV and scrolls a little over 2 hours of social media. So if you find yourself consuming social media, you're not going to be fulfilled. You're not going to get what's possible. So if you shift, I don't even do any social media. I don't do any TikTok videos. That's not where I want to spend my time. Most will go on to TikTok and then an hour later go, "What the heck did I do? I just wasted an hour of consumption." Now, if you're creating videos on that platform, that's totally different. There's a difference between consumption and creating. And you have to determine that. It's okay to have entertainment in your life. It's okay to watch a show every once in a while, but 4 hours a day of consuming other people's lives, scrolling over 2 hours of TikTok videos or other kind of videos, you're looking, you're comparing, you're judging, and you're looking at other people's lives. Create your life. Okay. The ideal week is your most important blueprint. Your ideal week is your most important blueprint. If you don't have an idea what your week's going to look like, then any distraction will get you there. We like to say, are you on the busy bus Are you on the purpose plane? Are you flying like an eagle on the purpose plane where it's quiet, it goes to one destination? Or are you on the busy bus that's noisy, always stopping at different stops? It's not going to one place, it's going to hundreds of places, depending on the length of your route. So you have to have an ideal week that you have mapped out, planned out, but you can have plenty of time for things that are important to you. You don't schedule every single minute, but you schedule an ideal week. An ideal week for me: podcast, content, and coaching. Podcast, content creation, and coaching. So those are the three things I do each week. And there are various things underneath that. I usually design 5 things to move those 3. I don't have 10 things to do. I don't have 20 things to do. And so many times we fall into that trap of doing things because we can. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So you have to design, you have to get clear on what you want, what your blueprint for the week looks like. Build influence, not just an audience. I see a lot of people that have influence locally. However, if I search them, I don't see much. I see a profile, maybe a website, maybe a LinkedIn profile. So if I want to go on a journey to get to know, like, and trust, I've got to have content to consume. Because if I'm interested in somebody, give me content to get to know you, like you, and trust you. All 3 works locally and it works globally. We like to share that most play in the local sandbox. That's 20% of your business. It's usually about 140 people that know, like, and trust you. The brain has that familiar concept, 140 people. Okay, what if you could play in the global sandbox? That's the 80%. Those are the people that don't know you yet. So that's creating demand for you and your services through your online profile. So that's why we do podcasts. That's why we invite people. That's why we do so many, because we want to put the content out there so people can get to know, like, and trust. And when you do that, when you create that content, you're creating demand for you, for your service, for people to get to know, like, and trust you. And those are the people, that sandbox. And just search yourself. Search yourself, then search me. I have 5 pages of Google. It used to be where you said, where do you bury a dead body? On the second page of Google. Maybe it's a little different now in that people are going on a journey with you. So if you meet somebody and you have an interesting conversation and that person wants to follow up and get to know, to see if they know, like, and trust you, you got to allow them to go on that journey. And that journey, the journey of 1,000 miles online, is a podcast, because it's the easiest way for people to get to know your story. But one podcast is not going to do it. Could it? Yeah. I mean, one person could listen to it and say, hey, man, I like this person. I want to get to know him. Most are going to go on a journey and they're going to consume up to 7 hours of you, because they're going through a process of know, like, and trust. 7, 11, That's 11 buying signals. People have to be interested in you to want to know more. And they have to see you on 4 different platforms. YouTube's a platform, podcast's a platform, Spotify's a platform, workbook's a platform, a book's a platform. These are different platforms. And when they do the 7-11-4, the brain just clicks. They get to know you, like you, and trust you through the journey you took them on. They're going to be interested, but if you do not allow them to go on a journey online, then the journey stops. So it doesn't matter that you don't have to have millions of views, millions of people following you. You just have to, and you don't have to be everywhere, where most people think they got to be everywhere. So they go to every networking event in the city and they waste a lot of valuable time. And I like to share that you have 2 different things. You have activities and you have assets. An activity is, say, a networking meeting. You go to it, you meet some people, you talk with some folks, then you go home. That's an activity. Nothing was created, but a few conversations. Now, if on the other side, you create an asset, a workbook, a book, a podcast, a video on teaching people something. Now those are assets, and assets are everything because assets grow. When you create an asset online, it only grows. When you create an activity, it starts and it finishes it and it's over. You had a good feeling, you had some good conversations, you enjoyed getting together with people, and I don't want you to take away that you only are going to be online. I had lunch with a gentleman yesterday. I had numerous conversations with people in person. And those will happen when you build up that curiosity. People are going to they'll ask you for a card and they want to go on a journey with you, and you got to allow them to do it because your influence locally is like about 140 people. Those are the amount of people you know, like, and trust. It's kind of your brain being familiar with something because we have it naturally built in. If you didn't, your brain would explode because there's so much information coming at you. It blocks off anything they're not familiar with. So that's why it's about 140 people. But that's the smaller of the sandbox. That's your local sandbox. Shift over to the global sandbox. That's where you have up to 1 billion and a half people that don't know you yet, that can go on a journey. Now, each one, you could have hundreds of thousands of people going on a journey to get to know, like, and trust. It's not going to have anything to do with your 140, although it'll be helpful for it because when people look you up and they want to get to know, like, and trust you, possibly because they're interested, then you allow them content to go on that journey with you. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first podcast. So be on a podcast. Let me introduce you to my community. Let me connect you with people that could help support you, help you. That's what we do. That's why we invite a person to be a guest on the podcast. We stream it to LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and soon to be Substack. So we stream it for free to 3 platforms. And we allow people that if they want to upgrade it, put it on Spotify, a thumbnail, show notes, mini short videos, so they can promote themselves and get people to know, like, and trust their journey that people are having with them online, so you can see the process, feel the process, experience the process. And that's what's possible. Let me see. I've got another podcast. Hold on now. Okay. The niche is your superpower. Define it simply. If you ask me, what do? I generate leads, I create cash flow, and I build thriving communities. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, whatever it is. Very focused. And if somebody asks me, how do you generate leads? Do you know how people are trying to create demand for their business? And they're doing a lot of stuff. What I do is help them to be a key person of influence online so they can create demand globally and grow their business, cash flow, and build a thriving community. So those are the kind of conversations I have if they're interested. Got to be interested. I'm not going to tell people for 30 minutes what I do because they're not interested. When they show interest and they lean in, then I will answer their questions. So that can be your use the framework to articulate your value. I help people that need to create demand, who want thriving, want to have cash flow without going out of business. Because if you do not create demand, you have a hobby and you have a business that's soon to be out of business, because you got to create demand, which creates cash flow, which helps you to build a thriving, healthy business. Okay. Stop creating content, start building intellectual property. Now, just throwing a lot of content out there, an asset is your IP, your international property. So when you have that, that becomes unique to you. A book, international property. A workshop. Things like your podcast are international properties of you. So instead of just throwing a lot of content out there, have a strategy to be asset driven, to have an international property. And that's will grow your demand for you. Okay, the content flywheel for conversation to ecosystem starts with the podcast, then it goes to content, then it goes to community, then it goes to creating the same flywheel. We go round and around, and everybody does the same thing. Podcast, courses, community. Podcast, courses, community. We coach in the community. So we coach you through the transformation. So, because if you have that community and you can get through and go through and experience it, then everybody does the same thing. Podcast, content, community, coaching. Podcast, content, community, coaching. So the flywheel of growth, we do the same thing over and over and over again. Most are always creating something new. I got to create another podcast. No, that's not a good example. I got to create another workshop. I got to do another. They're chasing so many different things. They're always creating something new, and they don't get good. They don't get great. They don't become a master at one thing. I just had a conversation with a gentleman, and we were talking about monetize one thing, not 10 things, not a dozen things, one. Once you master one, then you could go on to another, but not until you've mastered it, that you got the cash flow, you got the system, you got that down, and then you replicate it again and again, but you don't move to the second step until you monetize that first thing, that first niche. Okay. Create demand before you build supply. This is something I see when I ran before my stroke and I had a digital marketing business. I saw it quite frequently. They're building all this supply, the website, the brochures, all this stuff. They're building this elaborate supply. People, you cannot succeed in anything unless you have demand for it. So before you spend all this money on supply stuff, create demand. Somebody says, I have an idea, I'm going to do this. And the person said, that's a great idea, man. That's fantastic. Then the next question is, okay, would you like to buy it? Oh, no, not for me, for others. Well, then you don't have demand because your friends and people will tell you it's a great idea. But if they're not willing to put the money behind it, you don't really have anything besides people wanting you to feel good. So demand is currency. People giving you money for what you have to offer the marketplace. The value you bring is people transferring money for what you have. Always give people 10 times what they pay for. You do that, you'll always have a healthy business, you'll have cash flow, and you'll be building a thriving community. But it starts with demand. What do people want? They don't buy a hammer. They buy the ability for a hammer to do what it does, get the results. People don't buy coaching. They buy transformation. They buy an end result. They buy something that will help them in their business. People want the end result. They don't want the object you're sending, the supply that you're selling them or offering them. So one of the great ways to replace guessing with signals is waiting lists. Gauge intent for future offer. Conversations direct, ask your audience what they need. Pre-sell. Sell a pilot or a beta version before you fully build it. I had a gentleman that built this elaborate, man, it was a funnel of funnels. I mean, it was elaborate and spent weeks, months doing it. And I said, like, how many people have bought it? Well, none. You've spent months putting this together. Not one person has given you a dime. Look at all the time you wasted. Beta tested. If I were to do this, and this is the result, would you be interested in paying this? That way, you beta test it. You explain what you're doing, then build it. Okay. If they say yes, say, okay, it's $500, whatever it is. Then you get the money, cash flow, demand, and then you build it. So if you build an elaborate system and nobody wants it, you've wasted your time. And that'll drain your energy better than anything. When people have a demand for you, that gives you energy, and your business has that option. All right. Simplify to amplify. Simplify to amplify. Complexity doesn't scale. Simple does. Keep it simple. Keep it simple to where you can explain anything in a minute. All your systems are simple, because when you find yourself making things complicated, that's when things slow down. Keep it simple. And when you simplify, you scale. When you scale, you have demand. Demand creates cash flow, a thriving community. Keep it simple. And the last is the lifestyle business map. You got to map out your lifestyle. What do you want your life to look like? Prioritize the lifestyle that you want. When you prioritize that, you simplify how you make decisions. Simplify, prioritize, and map out your map of what you want. Here's an example of the map, and we'll make this available so you can have it, because we want you to have the lifestyle, to give you the freedom, to have the energy to create a life for you and your family. Because if you do that, you have freedom. Freedom of energy, freedom of time, freedom of doing what you want to do from wherever you want to do it around the world. Because the world shifted to global. And now you can do business with over 1 billion people if you have a global mindset. If you're building a person of influence online, if you give people a chance to get to know, like, and trust you. Okay, let me see. I don't think I have. You don't need a new business idea. You need a better business design. Design the lifestyle for you and your family. So let me see if I can put this banner up here. Yes, I can. I want to give you a free gift. Free gift. Yes, I can. And here we go. Where is it? Yes. Okay. Go to pkn.me/connect. And if you do that, oops, dang, what happened? Okay. Okay. Hold on here. I want to put, okay, here it is. Connect. There we go. Is that the one? Nope. Yes. Okay. Connect. There's a free course for you. High Performance Mastery, a $300 course for you. Go to Connect, use the word podcast, and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll show you what it is. Hold on here. I know. Here we go. Okay. So here we go. Right here. Okay. The gift of learning. So you're going to get 12 sessions. Clarity, energy, courage, productivity, and influence. Then once you hit influence, it's going to invite you to a live experience with 20 people. 5 business-minded people that want that lifestyle business. 5 veterans and 5 youth. Together, you're better in community. When you get to the second half, session 7 is physiology, psychology, persuasion, purpose, and productivity mastery. This is a $300 course that we've designed for you, and it's yours for being a part of this workshop. The future is bright for those that design a life, a lifestyle life, and that is possible with a strategy. So if you want to book a clarity session, let me put this clarity up here. Yes, I love it. Okay, hold on here. Okay. Book, go to pk.me/clarity or scan the QR code. Book a session. We're about to move to the next year. You want to be clear about your future. You want to have that lifestyle business as possible. You want to get that freedom. You want to have time, energy, location, and community freedom to work wherever you want to work. And when you do that, you're designing the life freedom. Okay, so go to Clarity, scan that QR code. Thank you so much for your time. Time's the most valuable thing we have. Use it, prioritize it wisely. So be bold, make an impact,